Discussion of the axilla. Axilla, it is the pyramidal in shape. Apex, which is lies into the upper part of the axilla, and the base, which is lies on the lower part. So it formed by the four walls: antewall, this is the posterior wall, and here there is a lateral wall, and this is the medial wall of the axilla. Now antewall of the axilla, which is formed by we have reflected the skin, superficial fascia, pectoral fascia, then we remove the pectoralis major, and this is the pectoralis minor, and above to the pectoralis minor, this is the up to the clavicle, it is formed by the clavipectoral fascia. So clavipectoral fascia, then it encloses the pectoralis minor, and then it becomes continuous as suspensory ligament, which is attached to the axillary fascia on the base of the axilla. So antewall of the axilla, which is formed by the skin, superficial fascia, pectoral fascia, pectoralis major, then reflect the pectoralis major, then pectoralis minor. Above to it there is a clavipectoral fascia which encloses the pectoralis minor, then it becomes suspensory ligament, and it is attached to the base of the axilla where there is a axillary fascia. This is the axillary fascia. So it is attached to the axillary fascia. So this is the antewall. The posterior wall of the axilla, this is the posterior wall of the axilla. This throughout, mainly it is formed by the subscapularis, fold of the latissimus dorsi and teres major. Three muscles, but we have not clearly dissected here. Later on, whenever we will discuss the shoulder region, at that time we will clear these muscles. So subscapularis, latissimus dorsi and teres major, three muscles which makes the posterior wall of the axilla. The medial wall of the axilla, which is formed by the lateral side of the trunk, mainly the upper 3 to 4 ribs and intercostal muscles which cover to it. So 3 to 4 upper intercostal space, and it is covered by the intercostal muscle, as well as it is covered by the serratus anterior muscles. So this is the medial wall. The lateral and medial wall, the lateral wall which is formed by the anterior wall and posterior wall which is converged. So this is the lateral wall. My finger, top of the finger, which is the lateral wall, and it is convergence of the anterior wall as well as the posterior walls. This way it is converged, and it is very narrow, look like a border, and it is formed by the upper part of the humerus, and it is covered by the coracobrachialis and upper part of the biceps. So this is the apex of the axilla, and this is the base of the axilla. So these are the boundaries of the axilla. Content of the axilla, which is formed by the branches of the brachial plexus, axillary artery and its branches, and axillary vein and its tributaries. Axillary vein and its tributaries. So, and the axillary lymph node, phi group of the axillary lymph node, posterior axillary lymph node, which is lies along with the subscapularis, along with the lateral thoracic vein. The anti-axillary lymph node along with the anterior wall, central axillary lymph node into the center, apical into the upper parts, and lateral axillary lymph node into the lateral walls. These are the 5 axillary lymph nodes we have already removed along with the fats, so you cannot see here the axillary lymph nodes. Now we will discuss about the branches of the medial cord. I will show you the 5 branches of the medial cord. This is the first branch, medial pectoral. This is the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm. This one is the medial root of median nerve. This is the medial root of median nerve. This is the ulnar nerve, and this is the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. This is the medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, supplies the skin over the medial side of the forearm. This is the ulnar nerve. Mainly it goes downwards, and it supplies to the muscles of the hand, intrinsic muscles of the hand. The medial nerve, mainly it supplies, it is formed by it is also formed by the lateral root of median nerve. This is the lateral root of median nerve, branch of the lateral cord. So the median nerve, which is formed by the two from the medial cord as well as from the lateral cord. So this is the median nerve, and this is the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, and it is make the anastomosis with the intercostobrachial nerve, and it supplies to the skin over the axilla. So these are the 5 branches of the medial cord. This is the medial pectoral, medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, which is anastomosis with the intercostobrachial nerve, and it supplies the skin over the medial side of arm as well as the floor of the axilla. This is the medial cord. This one is the this is the median nerve, and this is the ulnar nerve, and this is the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. 3 branches of the lateral cord you can see here. Three branches of the lateral cord. This is the lateral pectoral nerve, this is the musculocutaneous nerve, and this is the lateral root of median nerve, which is unite with the medial root of median nerve, and it makes the median nerve. So here you can see this lateral pectoral nerve, and this is the medial pectoral nerve. Both are communicated by the communicating branch. This is the communicating branch of the between the medial and lateral pectoral nerves. So lateral cord, it gives the 3 branches. Lateral pectoral nerve, you have to remember this lateral pectoral nerve. This lateral pectoral nerve, which pierces to the clavipectoral fascia, along with it thoracoacromial vessels and cephalic vein. We have already cut the cephalic vein. These are the 3 structures which pierce the clavipectoral fascia, which lies between the clavicle and pectoralis minor. So 3 structure: lateral pectoral, thoracoacromial vessels, and another is the cephalic vein. We have already cut a cephalic vein which is open inside the, here we have already cut, this is the cephalic vein which is open inside the axillary veins. So 3 structure: lateral pectoral, thoracoacromial vessels, and cephalic vein. These are the 3 structure which is pierced to the clavipectoral fascia. Now the branches of the posterior cord, it lies posterior to the axillary artery. There are 5 branches. The continuation of the posterior cord, it is called the radial nerve, and the another branches, it goes along with the quadrangular space. It is the axillary nerve. This is the axillary nerve. It supplies to the deltoid and teres minor, and this radial nerve mainly supplies to the back of arm and back of forearm, whole of the back of arm and forearm, which is supplied by the radial nerve. Another is the another 3 branches. Here you can see these are the 3 branches. This is the first branch, which it is a thoracodorsal nerve, or it is called the nerve to latissimus dorsi. Another 2 branches. This is the upper subscapular, and this one is the lower subscapular. So these are the, again we will I will show you the branches of the posterior cord. This is the continuation of the posterior cord. It is called the radial nerve. Radial nerve supplies to the back of arm and back of forearm. This is the axillary nerve, which goes inside the quadrangular space. Along with it, the posterior circumflex humeral artery. This is the posterior circumflex humeral artery. This is the axillary artery, the branch of the axillary artery, and it supplies to the axillary nerve supplies to the deltoid and teres minor muscles. Another 3 branches of the posterior cord. These are the 3 branches. This is the nerve to latissimus dorsi. Wait. This is the nerve to latissimus dorsi. This is the upper subscapular nerve, and this one is the lower subscapular. So total 5 branches of the posterior cord. We will discuss the posterior cord. This is the first one. It is the radial nerve. This is the axillary nerve. This is the lower subscapular. This one is the upper subscapular, and this is the nerve to latissimus dorsi. These are the 5 branches of the posterior cord. Now we will discuss about the another nerve. This is along with the attached to the lateral wall of the intercostal space, intercostal muscles. This is the long thoracic nerve. It is a directly branch of the root of the brachial plexus, which is formed by the C5, C6 and C7. It supplies to the serratus anterior. If paralysis of this nerve, there is a winging of scapula. Now we will discuss about the branches of the axillary artery. This is the axillary artery. We will discuss the axillary artery. This is the axillary artery. It divides into the three parts. Proximal to the pectoralis minor, it is called the first part. Between the clavicle and pectoralis minor, it is the first part. Behind to the pectoralis minor, it is called the second part. And distal to the pectoralis minor up to the lower border of the teres major. Either you can say it is the lower border of the axillary fold, base of the axilla. So this is the third part of the axillary artery. This is the axillary artery. So totally three part of the axillary artery. This is the first part, behind to the pectoralis minor, second part, and distal to it, it is the third part, up to the lower border of the teres major, and it becomes continuous as a brachial artery. So it is called the brachial artery. Now the first branch gives the first one branch. It is the superior thoracic artery. This is the superior thoracic artery, which supplies to the upper intercostal muscles. This is the acromiothoracis. Acromiothoracis is divided into the four branches, but here it is later on it divide, and it gives the four branches. One which is goes towards the clavicle, it is called the clavicular branches. One which is goes toward the clavicle, another which is inside the deltoid, it is the deltoid branch. Another into the pectoral region, pectoralis branch, and acromial branch. These are the four branches of the thoracoacromial artery, and this is the lateral thoracic artery. The axillary artery, which gives the largest branch, it is called the subscapular artery, and this subscapular artery, it gives the circumflex scapular artery, and it is continues as a long thoracic artery or thoracodorsal artery. Another two branches of the axillary artery, smaller one, it is the anterior circumflex humeral. This is the smaller one, anterior circumflex humeral artery, and the larger one, it is the posterior circumflex humeral artery. Anterior circumflex humeral artery passes anterior to the humerus, and posterior circumflex humeral artery passes posterior to the humerus, and it makes the anastomosis around to the upper part of the humerus. So this is about to the axillary artery. So we have discussed about the brachial plexus, content of the axilla, boundaries of the axilla, branches of the axillary artery, branches of the brachial plexus. So this is about to the axilla and brachial plexus and axillary artery.